welcome to this video. Today's class is a little bit of a Yinyasa, our little yin way of doing a sort of vinyasa flow. So it's going to be a little bit of a flow. We won't be taking any rebounds, but we will just transition really gently and really slowly in our own time into the next pose and into the next one, and then moving to the other side. As far as props are concerned, I've just got a couple of cushions here, more for comfort than anything. This is still a yin class after all. And so feel free to use a bolster, a couple of pillows. If you have a block, have it handy in case you feel like using it and inspiration arises. But please remember to listen to your body and have that awareness of what is feeling right and what isn't. Go inside, experiment with the variations, experiment with the position of your hands and your feet and your legs and your torso to find what can really work for you to target a specific area. If anything is hurting or doesn't feel right, please come out of the pose. Listen to your body. Timings wise, we're going to keep 3 minutes for each pose as we flow through, and we'll take a rebound before we start the other side. But if you would like to make it longer, pause the video. If you would like to come out before I've called the time, please do so, and then join in for the next pose. Remember, this is your practice, and I hope you enjoy it. We are going to get started. So our first pose is half butterfly, and basically we're going to extend our left leg out in front of us, and our right foot comes in close to our pelvis with the right knee bent. Now, as we start to bring our torso down, we're looking for a stretchy sensation at the back of the thigh or hamstrings. You might even feel this the back of the calves if they're feeling tight. That whole back layer there of the leg is where you might feel this pose. Now, there is no law that says that you have to be folded directly on top of your leg, and so if you feel like coming out more to the center between the two legs, or maybe to the opposite side because that feels better for you, then please play around. But make sure that when you find a pose, you're feeling the stretch, but you're not in any pain. Your foot is relaxed, your leg is relaxed. Feel free to use a cushion or a couple of cushions to support the torso, so that you can just start relaxing into it. Just like Goldilocks, you're feeling it. You don't want to be feeling it too much. Allow yourself the first minute or so to just relax with each breath more and more. Let go of the day, let go of the things that have happened, or the things that you still have to do today. Those can wait. If you feel like you need to bend the knee a little bit here because you're feeling this quite aggressively in the knees, please feel free to do so. The leg does not need to be straight. And also, if you want to sit on a cushion to help you, give you a little bit more momentum to fold forwards, also please do. You can always put a cushion underneath the knee. That might feel quite nice. Remember to keep relaxing. Notice if you've tensed or tightened the muscles. And if you have, just let it go. Less than a minute to go here. Slowly we just use our hands and our arms to gently lift us so that we can come into our next pose, which now we're moving the stretch into the inside of our thigh. So from the back to the inside. This is our half dragonfly. So again, allow the foot to be relaxed, the leg to be relaxed. This is another one where you might feel this quite intensely as you start coming down with the torso in the inside of the knee, and if that's the case, feel free to bend the knee a little bit. Again, you can slip a cushion underneath there. That might feel quite good to you. We're opening the leg out a little bit to the side, or just moving the torso more to the center. Finding that stretch on the inside there. Remember that once you've found what works, allow yourself to let go and relax into it. Play around with your edge, what feels right, what doesn't, and then settle. Allow yourself just to be in the moment here with your body, your breath. Notice sensations happening in the body, maybe in the area that we're targeting, maybe elsewhere. Notice the movement of your breath changes as you inhale and exhale. Less than a minute to go. Slowly and gently in your own time. We use our hands and arms again to lift our torso back up. keeping the legs where they are with that left leg still outstretched to the side. We're going to come into a side bend now. So torso, instead of folding forwards, is going to fold on the side. And what we're looking for is a really yummy stretch on the side of the ribs, the side of the chest, the torso. Now I quite like to prop my elbow onto my thigh and my other hand rests on top of my head, but I know that for a lot of people this doesn't quite happen because of your bones, not because of anything else. And so if you find that your arm just sort of floats, that arm can also be played around with. It can maybe come to behind you, even just resting on the opposite knee. If you need a cushion to prop yourself up a little bit further, please feel free to prop yourself underneath the torso. Remember to let go and relax into the pose. It's not about how far you go, it's about feeling that sensation, the right sensation, for you to decide what that right sensation is for you today, because know that it will change, it will not be static. Every day will be a different feeling, different tightness. Different mood. Feel free to adjust as time goes by if you need to, either increasing or decreasing that intensity of the stretch. Yin doesn't need to be completely still, but notice if you move because you're uncomfortable, whether it's just your mind playing tricks with you. Talking you out of it. Less than a minute to go. Softening all the way till the end, if you're with me. And slowly we start to bring ourselves back to center. Again, using that left hand to just slowly, slowly bring the torso back up. Feel free to take a moment or two or three. But eventually, we're going to bring this left leg out behind us now. Doing a big circle to the back of the room, the back of the mat. And we come into our sleeping swan. So what happens when we do this is now our stretch should be felt in that right side, and it will be our right glute. So the buttocks, you might even feel this on the side of the thigh. So many variations here to play around with, so many parameters, but one of the major ones is how far is your foot parallel to the mat or to the carpet, or is the foot closer to the pelvis? This will depend a lot on your bone structure again, so find what works for you, where it's not causing you pain in the knee. Also, is the knee sort of down your midline, or does it open out to the side? That too will make a big difference for you to find that perfect stretchy sensation in the back of the right glute. Once you've found something that works, just start to relax into it. You don't have to be all the way down to the ground. Being propped up on your elbows or on a prop will do just as nicely. If you're feeling unstable on your hips, slip a cushion maybe underneath that right buttocks to keep you stable and supported. That back leg does not have to be straight. Even if it's out to the side a little bit more, that's fine. It could be a little bit bent behind you. Whatever feels good. If you find yourself tilting to one side or the other, no, that's absolutely okay, as long as you're comfortable. But then we start letting go and relaxing, because we found that perfect spot. We soften in our body, we soften with our breath, and we soften our mind too, allowing it to be free from distractions of future, of past. Keep checking in with yourself. Notice if you've been taken for a journey by the mind, if you find yourself lost in thought. If you are, it's not a reason to be hard on yourself or frustrated. Just bring yourself back to focusing on that relaxation, that letting go, being in this moment, feeling into your body, noticing your breath. And then gently we start to peel ourselves back. And then what we want to do is grab that back foot. We're coming into our swan tail here. So the torso is definitely a bit more up. You can be all the way up. You can be down on your elbows, maybe propped up with a cushion. But where we're moving the stretch to now is to the back of the thigh. Now notice that I have sort of plonked myself down onto the side. I'm not perfectly central and aligned in some beautiful pigeon tail. But that's absolutely okay because I'm still feeling it in my quad on my left leg. The closer you will bring the foot to the buttocks, the more intensity you might feel. Get a strap, please feel free to use it. Allow yourself to soften, even though you might feel that you're making effort by keeping your torso up, holding on to that back foot. Soften that effort. Notice where your mind is now. Does it differ when you're efforting a bit more? Does it get more distracted? A little more busy? Or does it remain calm and comfortable? Less than a minute to go. Slowly releasing that back leg. And just come to find a nice rebound position. Either lying on your back or on your front, sitting up. This is your chance to take that moment to feel the effects of what we've just done, working on just one side and not the other yet. So notice the difference between the two sides. Notice if they feel different. Notice any movement of energy, any tingling, any pins and needles, any temperature. Gently we start to bring the awareness back and bring some gentle movement to our fingers and our toes. stretch the arms overhead and pointing and flexing the feet and just starting to activate the body a little bit and bringing the knees into the chest, swaying a little side to side, either rocking up and down the spine or coming to rest on your side to come back up as we move to the other side. My bad, something I didn't mention before, because I was doing it with my other leg and so I'm quite comfortable in that half butterfly position, is that on this side I am not, and hence why I've remembered. Sitting with your foot close to the pelvis with one leg extended out like this with your foot in front of you might not be the most comfortable for everyone. In fact, you might find yourself feeling almost unstable. I certainly am on this side much more than the other one. So another option for you is to flip that foot back and come into a sort of half frog kind of pose. Now, whether the knees are together or a little further apart, that's up to you, but if it feels more comfortable, I certainly feel a lot more stable when I'm like this. On this side, notice maybe it's different one side for you than the other. I hope so. Should be. We are mostly different one side from another. We are not perfect. But again, we just start to come down and find that stretch at the back of your right thigh, maybe your right calf, as we start our next. Remember the parameters here. Is your body straight over the leg? Is your body a little bit more between the two legs, or maybe to the opposite side? That would be weird, or not. Find what works for you to achieve that delicious stretch. You're feeling it, but it's not too much. Remember to prop yourself under the torso if you need. Remember to relax the foot, the leg. If you need to bend the knee a little bit, please go ahead. Allow yourself to let it all go. Bring your awareness inside. Notice what's going on in this pose, where your mind is, where your breath is. Are you forcing anything? Are you manipulating anything? Keep checking for any signs of tightening or tension. Sometimes we do this without even knowing we've done it. Incited by a thought, reacting to a thought, an emotion, a memory. Gently we start to unravel ourselves using the strength in our arms, in our hands. So we come to shift, stretch to the inside of the thigh now. I'm staying in my half frog pose here. I'm going to stay here until I can no longer stay or until it's uncomfortable. But I'm achieving my inner thigh stretch here. So I'm kind of cool. But if you wanted, might be the case, this works better for a hamstring stretch than a groin stretch. So play around with that lever leg, that opposite leg, the one that's helping you to achieve the pose. Star clock, but remember to soften the leg, allow the foot to roll in or out naturally, because resisting that will change how you feel the pose. It's going to change how your bones sort of sit together also. So you really just want to allow it to be where it is. That's the whole point. Be where you are. Again, if you're feeling this a lot in the knee, feel free to micro bend maybe, or you can stick a pillow underneath the knee. But then you relax, sigh it out, breathe it out, do what you need to do to let go of your thoughts, to let go of distractions, and bring yourself inside. This is definitely an inside job. Notice if you do get caught up by distractions, whether internal or external noises, people around you. But notice your reaction to it. And try and bring yourself to a place of calm, a place of peace. It doesn't matter, really. Less than a minute to go. Gently we start to engage the arms and the hands again to bring us back up. As we transition to our side bend, looking for that stretch in the side of the torso now. I don't think I've ever tried this with my leg like this, my left leg like this, but it feels alright, so I'm going to go with it. Everything is always worth a try once. And so, coming to fold over that right leg. Again, use the props to support the torso if you need. Your elbow on your thigh, on the floor. That top arm can be anywhere from above and over the head to behind your back, in the front. What it's all about is this yummy side stretch along the side of the ribs, the side of the waist. I always forget to turn the timer when it comes to this pose because it's one of my favorites and I just get totally lost in it. soften and relax. Notice where the stretch is. How does it feel? You're finding this uncomfortable in your neck. I sometimes do, especially on one side. Play around with that rotation. The neck doesn't, you don't have to be facing forwards in front of you. The neck is looking down, that's absolutely fine. Find what's the best for you today. Investigate. Remember that movement is allowed, so if you find yourself shifting or needing to shift, please go ahead and do it. And then settle back in, soften back in, scan and check, notice for any tightening in the muscles and tightening in the mind. I find a lot of my resistance to certain poses comes from my mind more than it does my body. Whether it's because I have a preconceived notion of what that pose should look like, and in my body it doesn't look like that, or whether it's just because I just hate it. And so when I'm in it, all I can think about is how much I want to get out and how much I resent and resist it. So tension or sort of discomfort and fidgetiness can come from a number of things. Maybe you're in serious discomfort, maybe you're in pain, in which case move, change, play around with different variations, different positions. But if it's just your mind being intolerant, which sometimes they can be, oh wow, so taking a last breath here, or just slowly coming up and out of the pose. So I got lost in the rambling and the pose. I apologize. We're going to transition to our sleeping swan here. But for this, we will need to turn that left leg around again. So bringing the foot closer to the pelvis. And as that right leg sort of swings around clockwise to behind you, to the back of the mat. Have your props handy, don't kick them away. Again, remember that we're looking for a glute stretch here, so our buttocks and maybe the IT band, which is this very thick bit of fascia that runs along the side of the thigh. So to achieve this, the parameters are many. It's really, there's no one size fits all. So the foot can be closer to the pelvis, closer to the top of the mat. The knee can be anywhere, anywhere. It can be down the midline, it can be more out to the side. If you find that you've tilted one way or another, know that that's okay, because you can just come into your pose like this and you might be feeling it. And that's perfect. Perfect for you, perfect for you today. So play around as your torso comes down, whether it reaches the floor all the way or whether you're supported on your elbows or on some props, some cushions. But find that stretch, explore the body, and then settle into it. Letting go. Softening everywhere. Joints, the muscles, softening the breath. Notice if the mind starts to wander, and if it is, just gently lead it back to this present moment, to this pose, to how it feels in your body. To adjust, please do so before relaxing back in. And remember, as I mentioned at the beginning of the class, you don't have to stay here as long as we're in it. If you want to come out earlier, if you want to stay longer, please feel free to do so. I know I'm reminding you towards the end. As always, ever helpful. Slowly we start to bring our torso up, and bending that back leg now and finding that stretch at the back of the right thigh, front of the right thigh, sorry, excuse me. Finding that stretch in the quad. And again, you can be on your side here if you need a strap to hold on to the foot. Please do so. Prop yourself up under the left buttocks if you need, but find something that works for you. You know, sleeping swan tail. It's actually a swan tail when you're up, but I like a sort of more yin version if that's possible. And so I like to come down on my elbows. You can see the black clouds coming behind me, and I hope the rain is going to stay off for at least the next 4 minutes. I tried filming this class yesterday but got rained on, and so fingers crossed. And if it does, I'll be still here. Finish this together. Remember to soften, let go. Feel the stretch, but don't feel it too much. It's not necessary. Remember, our fascia likes to take it easy. It doesn't like dynamic, forceful, stressful I mean, it is a stress, but forced, excessive strain likes to take its time, increasing as it needs to over the time. You don't have to feel everything all at once. Halfway through. Notice where the mind is. If it's wandered, bring it back for this last few seconds of the pose. Keep softening. Try to not mentally prepare yourself already for the coming out, for the rebound, for what's to come. Stay present all the way. Gently releasing that back leg and come to find your final rebound as gracefully as possible. Allow yourself to let go completely, be comfortable on the mat, on the ground. Allow your feet to be comfortable width apart, allow them to roll in or out, wherever they want to go. Allow the legs to feel heavy, hips heavy. Soften the belly, soften the chest, soften your breath. Relax the jaw, relax the area around the eyes. Allow yourself this moment to be completely effortless, floating in the present. Started raining, I will slowly start to wake my body up. Trying to flex the feet, see if I stretch the arms overhead. Stretching as if I've just woken up. Bring the knees to the chest. Give a little sway on the lower back. And come to lie on my left side. Slowly pushing myself back up to a comfortable seated position. Bring my hands together in gratitude and respect. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an amazing day.